evening, everybody, and welcome to a little late edition of the Hard Cam. We are happy to see you. We just got back off a road trip from somewhere in Vegas, I do believe. Alongside with me, always back from the road trip with me, Paul Rogers in the house. Paul, how you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm tired. It's way past my bedtime, but
oh, come on, man. You younger than I am, man. Come on.
Yeah, and this is how you stay looking young. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
So, where did we just get back from? Were we in Vegas or were we somewhere else?
I think it was Florida, to be honest. That's where I'd have to double check on my phone, but yeah, I think it was Florida.
Okay. Well, we like I said, we were late tonight because we just got back off the road watching MLW, and that episode of the Road Trip Wrestling will drop here in the next couple of weeks after we have a chance to go back and review our notes and all that happy stuff. At least we're going to get right into it and started off I'm going to start it off a little somber, I guess. Yesterday, we got news of the passing of one Ted Turner. And, I never met the man. Don't get me wrong. Never heard a bad thing about the man, to be quite honest with you. Everybody that talked about him, not just when he passed, of course, but I mean, for years, I've never heard anybody say anything bad about Ted Turner. And, for those of you that do not know what Ted Turner meant, not only to the wrestling business, but to how television is viewed today, if it interests you, I would implore you to check it out. Ted Turner told people for years that he built the Superstation off two things: Braves baseball and professional wrestling. And, what a lot of people don't realize with Ted Turner is he did not rent his content. He did not pay royalties. When he wanted to put something on his network, he bought it. So, like when you saw those Andy Griffith episodes and everything, Ted Turner owned it. He had went out and bought it. And when he had a new show that they either produced or bought, if he wanted to get the viewers there, he would put it on after professional wrestling. Georgia Championship Wrestling started there. Then, of course, we had, when they went belly up, sold, whatever you want to call it, we had the Black Saturday with Vince McMahon for a couple of weeks. And then, of course, Crockett came in for the NWA, the Mid-Atlantic Territory, and named the show World Championship Wrestling. When the Crockett's were going through their financial trouble, Ted Turner stepped in. He bought the Crockett territory and turned it into just World Championship Wrestling, later dropping the NWA with the deals with that. And he kept them afloat for a long time. I mean, they were losing money left and right, but Ted loved it. He felt a strong loyalty to the wrestling business due to what they had done for his network. And when everybody around him was saying, we need to get rid of this, it's in the red, it stays in the red, he basically told them, they could go to hell, that the wrestling wasn't going anywhere. And then, Ted Turner, of course, owned it, put Eric Bischoff and WCW on Monday nights against Monday Night Raw. And the rest, they say, is history because the Monday Night Wars exploded, wrestling back into the pop culture more than we had seen it since, the first couple of WrestleManias when it exploded with Cyndi Lauper and Mr. T. And, wrestling would have still been on TNT and TBS after the merger. But like I said, I don't know. A lot of people have speculated. He didn't really say a whole lot about it. But when AOL Time Warner merged, Bischoff talked about this. When he was basically going at it with all the AOL Time Warner executives, that he always knew that he had Ted Turner in his back pocket because Ted Turner loved wrestling. But what Bischoff did not know was after the merger, Ted had basically been put back in a corner office somewhere and no longer had any pull in his own company, and the executives were in charge. So Bischoff was kind of doomed from day one with his nasty attitude toward all the AOL executives. But if Ted Turner still had the stroke, I don't think we'd ever seen wrestling leave the Turner networks.
Fair. WCW at that time was not anything presentable. You know what I mean? There's massive contracts, massive trade. Like, it was a nightmare to look at. If it was a cleaner show, like a cleaner product, if they slimmed down, like, they could have presented it what I'm trying to say is, like, if you have exploitation genres in movies, like horror. Horror is a good example of something that's, like, cheap to make and you always make a profit. Wrestling's sort of like horror in that way, where it's playful like theater. But WCW was not like Friday the 13th, where it's like, oh, well, we can make a show for a couple 100,000 and make 20 million off of it. It was like, oh God, we got to pay Steiner, we got to pay Hogan, we got to pay Flair, we got to pay. You know what I mean? Like, it could have been a bit more presentable. It wasn't helping itself, but yeah, it was. I can imagine an executive looking at it and going, "Wait, what? Why? Why?"
Well, here's the thing with that too, though. To play devil's advocate, I agree with you. But WCW's product in the early '90s, when Flair left and went to the WWF, was pretty bad too. And Ted Turner kept it afloat because he loved it, and he would have done the same. I mean, in hindsight, you don't know. I mean, but history shows us that Ted Turner would not have let the product go under. He might have stepped in and said, "Hey, this is not what I was used to. I'm gonna need y'all to fix this." That might have happened. I don't think he would have taken it off the air. And just Bischoff was fighting an uphill battle, not defending Bischoff at all. But when they were going to buy the company, and their idea, he's talked about it several times, their idea to buy the company was take it off the air for a couple of months. And then they had already talked to, kind of like they did with Disney MGM. There was a place in Vegas building a new kind of television studio thing that, and they were going to be live from there. They weren't going to go on the road. They were going to go there they would be there live there every Monday. And he was going to bring it back.
Daly's place, kind of.
Yeah, some kind of feel like that.
A modern reference, yeah.
And and he said basically try to fix the damage Vince Russo had done. And so the deal was done, but when they named the head of Turner AOL, whatever you want to call it, he was the head honcho, which was Jamie Kellner.
For context, this would have been in what, 2003?
2002, I believe. I don't know when the last Nitro was, but
because I know there's definitely 2001 WCW, but once we get past there, I think that's when the merger happens and it all kind of gets a bit.
Well, they had merged. They had been merged for a year, but they were still working out the kinks. And
I just mean in the timeline of like WCW closes down, and then like Final Nitro. It was Final Nitro 2001, and then when did they bring WCW back in the WWE?
Oh,
because there was a period of time, and then they brought in.
Yeah, it was WrestleMania season, and they had already. DDP had showed up as the Undertaker's wife's stalker, whatever you want to call that. He had already showed up, and then they were. I want to say that was the McMahon in every corner WrestleMania. I could be wrong, but Shane had come out there and did some kind of promo, and after that, because he bought WCW and he was pointing out, hey, my WCW guys up here, and they showed a bunch of the guys up there in a booth. But just back to that real quick, we'll move on. But they named Jamie Kellner as the head of everything. He was the boss, and they had struck the deal to sell to Bischoff and I think Fusion Venture Entertainment's what it was called. Doesn't matter. But when Jamie Kellner come along, he's like, I don't want the shit on my network. No, you can sell it, but they're not getting that TV time. I don't want it on my network. And so that's how it wound up being sold to WWE for pennies on the dollar. And and Bischoff was 100% correct that it was not worth any money without the TV time. But on the flip side of that, if you're looking at a TV company, like where WWE would go in and negotiate their deal with USA or TNN, those people were paying for the rights to air their product. Mm-hmm. Well, what a lot of people don't realize when they shit all over WCW, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it was the greatest product ever, but, the way Turner was ran, and it's been several people, not just Bischoff, talk about it, former Turner executives that was there. They did not pay WCW for the rights to air it because he owned it. So WCW did not have that income stream coming in like the WWE did. They had to go out and basically their revenue share was to go out and sell that advertising. They were humping the streets, going out and selling advertising to all those different commercials you saw. And then they would of course get their money from, certain areas, but like, the pay-per-view money that would come in did not go to WCW. It went to the Turner Home Entertainment, the catalog network, that part of the company. And it's also been said that a lot of different parts of the company, because WCW ran in the red for so long, if they had any debt or anything that their stuff was in the red, they would move it over to the WCW side because that's what people were used to, that them running in the red like that. So, like I said, Ted Turner, God bless him, not bringing it on and like I said, he credited that and Braves Baseball for launching his superstation. And his thing was, I'm going to throw a bunch of satellites outside, see how far they can reach. He was the original superstation. I mean, we had a couple more come along before cable really took off. But Ted Turner, he started it all. And, like I said, without Ted Turner, I don't know where the media would be today with television and everything that we've got. So, 87 years old, he led a hell of a life. He owned the Braves and the Hawks and WCW and, CNN, everything else that he's done, bringing in, TNT after that, then Turner Classic Movies, and God, I don't know how many channels he had on there before he actually merged with AOL Time Warner. But if you don't know the Ted Turner story, I would go look at it. He seemed like a gracious guy. Where other people might have got mad about the Billionaire Ted skits. Everybody in WCW said he thought they were hilarious. They were doing that and putting him on TV like that as Billionaire Ted and old Hick, and he laughed at him, and so. It was like Hulk Hogan's contract. Hulk Hogan did not have a WCW contract. He had a Turner contract. That's why it was guaranteed. So, rest in peace, Ted. You got anything else to finish on that? I mean, I don't know how much you knew about Ted Turner, Paul, but
the best story I ever heard about Ted Turner is they're starting a new channel. And they're putting it all cartoons. It's a revolutionary new idea in 2000, whatever it was at the time. Only cartoons, 24/7 cartoons. And they had a group of suits sit there for weeks coming up with all these names. And Ted Turner walks in, looks at all the names, looks at them, and goes, it's called the Cartoon Network, and walks out. And that was it. They just went, what are we going to tell them? No. And the Cartoon Network has been around for donkey's years now. They're like,
yeah, I mean,
people who've been raised on the Cartoon Network can vote now.
Yeah,
well,
getting them on the better part of 3 decades almost now. So,
and that's a staple. Like Cartoon Network, like certain channels like that is like.
And a lot of people might not know, for one of Nickelodeon's most popular shows, of SpongeBob SquarePants, it got its start on the Cartoon Network as part of Adult Swim. They had to tailor it down a whole lot for Nickelodeon, but that's where SpongeBob. Not trying to be whatever you gonna call it, but like that's where all those little puns of the Krusty Krab and Bikini Bottom and stuff like that come from. Is because they started on Adult Swim.
Yeah, I will say this about Ted Turner is it's an interesting documentary when you watch, like documentaries about him are interesting, but they're the most boring type of it. You know what I mean? Like it's like reading a wrestling book that's like a historical, where it's like March 3rd, TSN, blah, and you're like, oh my God, kill me. It's just, you know what I mean? Dates and times and facts and channels. There's no like, and then he stabbed a guy, and like, it's just like, okay, and then a meeting, and then the cartoon. So it's like, it's interesting for the time period, but it's very like business bureaucratic information. So as much as you're like, oh, this is kind of interesting, the other party is like, can you just show a wrestler hitting somebody with a chair for a moment? Like,
yeah, last night on Dynamite, Tony Schiavone's Dynamite tribute, the 10 Bell salute. I thought they did a real good job. Sting came out looking like the abominable snowman from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but it was gracious to Sting. He came out to no music. He just came out and, did his little signature yell at the top of the ramp, and he walked down. It was not a big fanfare like you see for wrestlers' entrances. He walked down completely silent, to the crowd, cheering for him, of course. And, like today, I thought they did a real good job with that. And one thing I did not realize, I don't pay attention to a lot of the belts. The belts have to catch my eye. I did not realize that the TNT and TBS titles, the side plates, were of the old Ted Turner Studios in when it was aired at 605. And
I think there's a lot of things like that we don't get the benefit of seeing. You know what I mean? Like that's something. As soon as you said it, I went, you can't make an episode of something like showing it close. Like, yeah. It makes sense that it would, but I had no idea either. So
Yeah, I mean, so when he said that, I looked up. I said, "Damn, if it didn't." But Ted Turner, a man who helped change wrestling forever, an industry that continues to evolve every week, and people can sit there and give Vince McMahon all the credit in the world, and I will as well, as far as taking it to the next level. But Ted Turner was, in my opinion, just as important to the wrestling business as Vince McMahon was, because without the Superstation, Vince McMahon might not have had the idea of thinking it could go global the way it did. Without those satellite reaches that Ted Turner was showing that Georgia Championship Wrestling and the Crockett Promotions could reach as well. So
it's like one of those old musicians where it's like one guy who's been around forever and he's super skilled, like, and then all of a sudden this guy comes out of nowhere and within 4 years does what you've done in like 10, and you go, oh crap. But then after the 4 years it just stops and you're like Vince must be so happy. Like when Vince hears AOL, he must smile inside a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, because there was a time where it was close, and if there was, you know what I mean? Like, okay, yeah, WCW wasn't what it was, but in theory, they could still be around and still be a thorn in their side. Like,
yeah, I mean, they're a lot more alike than people realize. I mean, but it's kind of like the Jim Cornette, Paul Heyman comparison. They're the same guy, just one from the South and one from the North. And then we'll move on. But Vince didn't want WCW for the contracts. He didn't want it for the, he kind of wanted it for the same reason that he bought of ECW out of bankruptcy court. He wanted the film library and he wanted the trademarks, because they said he had been discussing the WWE network as to what it started out as, 10 to 12 years before it ever came out. He had that plan, and that's why he was buying the small libraries one by one.
But even to be fair, not counting Netflix, when I was younger, I have some of them here. So I have the ECW Bloodsport DVD, right? I had this when I was like a teenager. I grew up on ECW. This is a WWE DVD. So even before Netflix and even before all that stuff, they were just repackaging old ECW and WCW shows on DVD.
Well, it's like we were talking about before we came on the air.
Because that's what the market was at the time.
Yeah, it's like before we came on the air talking about the new Hulk Hogan documentary on Netflix and the new Shawn Michaels on Peacock. I mean, yeah, there's a few new things in there, but like Paul just said, it's repackaging of a bunch of stuff that is already done. And you can't see it, but I got a bookshelf over here and all this wonderful memorabilia that I have. It's full of the same thing: the DVDs of the WCW, the World Class, the ECW that WWE did after they bought all that. So, but without competition, wrestling never becomes what it is today, and we have Ted Turner to thank for that. So, let's move on and try to pick this up a little bit and get out of the somber. Mass releases. What do you think, Paul? WWE's just kicking people to the curb left and right.
I mean, like, okay, let's be real. When we look at UFC and we look at how they manage their talent, and we've heard some of the complaints from UFC talent, people, their, let's just say, observations about Dana White and how he. I can just see someone who owns TKO and going, look at how UFC runs, and then look at WWE and going, why are these guys getting paid way more? Like Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, I can imagine are guys that are getting paid up the wazoo, right? Is that fair to say? Like they're not making Roman money, but they're comfortable.
I would say they're probably midway.
Their kids are.
Oh yeah, they're taken care of. I mean, when I say midway, we're not talking bad money. I'm just, in the grand scheme of things, they're not, like you said, the Roman, Randy, Cody echelon, but they're not hurting. They're not hurting at all.
They're having fun in life. Their mama's house is paid for. So I can imagine a corporate suit going, well, why are we paying Kofi this much? Kofi's been around for forever, so it's obvious why he would be paid much, and he's a talented person. I understand why he's getting paid what he was getting paid. But if they went to him and said, to stay in your job, you got a 50% pay cut, which apparently, I don't know if it's a rumor or if that was confirmed, but the 50% thing was thrown around, and it was like, I don't know. To me, it reeks of that old AJ Styles story. Do you remember this story where they brought in
with TNA, and they wanted to take a cut?
Yeah, so he said, no, I'm not taking a pay cut. Like, this is ridiculous. I'm going to go leave and go somewhere else. So if that's what they're doing, all the power to them, because they literally have all the power. They can show up anywhere.
When it comes to the New Day, what I heard was, yes, they first off, the main thing was they're trying to convert everybody's WWE contract over to a TKO contract, and when they
see that, yeah,
and when they wanted to do that with the New Day, because specifically, Kofi's come out and said there was just a lot of things, and it's not just money that was in their WWE contract that it was not in the TKO contract, and they were both just like, you know what, just let us go. But the word popping up now is they want to bring Xavier Woods back under the same kind of contract. I forgot who the person is, but like he would be like digital media would be his main job, and then wrestling occasionally.
Obviously this is hyperbole and a joke, but I could see someone being like, okay, we got to fire that guy, and then looking and being like, oh, this social media thing, this is making us a lot of money. Yeah. You just fired the guy that did it.
Well, they didn't fire him. They didn't fire him. They asked for their release. But now I get what you're saying. And
no.
The ones that really surprised me.
I don't want to be semantical, but if you offer someone a contract so low that they're going to obviously like reject it, I feel like depending on how it's presented, could be a way of them going. Remember, Bischoff tried to do it with Luger, where he's like, I gave him an offer. I thought 100% he was going to refuse, and then he took it, and he said, shit, now I have Luger on there.
Yep, pretty much. But, you talk about stuff like the one that really surprised me, I will tell you, not because or whatever, but, and then later it came out, the Wyatt Six, I felt bad for them. I don't really think they ever got the push that if they were going to do that kind of group, the push they needed to get to be over. If you weren't going to push them, you should have just left it alone. Aleister Black is the one that really surprised me. He hadn't been back a year. And
God, yeah.
And what I heard about that, apparently there's somebody, now rumors, take it for what it is. I've seen it on, several different credible sources, but there's somebody in TKO's upper echelon that does not like the dark gimmick. And so that's why you saw a lot of those be released.
I hate to disagree. I hate to agree with the billionaire class, you know what I mean? But I don't. No spooky gimmick has ever worked, and I know everyone's gonna point at the Undertaker, but it's like he was still very limited in how he reacted to other characters. You know what I mean? But Papa Shango, yes, they had memorable moments, but they weren't around for long. They're never. I wasn't a big fan of Bray Wyatt because how do you wrestle a spirit? You know what I mean? It's too TV show. But my only objection to the Wyatt Six being is I just want to look at the people the talent people and be like Nikki Cross, that's the one person I'm going to defend and go, you can't find anything for this lass. She's so good. She's one of the girls that I on the women's roster that I actually really love. So to see her let go is maybe it's crazy.
Well, and then a lot of people are really pissed off online about the Motor City Machine Buttons being let go. And my thing was why they ever signed to begin with. And again, I get you want, we've talked about it before, whether it's a Kenny Omega or a Swerve Strickland or whoever, everybody, everybody's got it at the back of their head. They want that WrestleMania moment if they can get it. And that's just, what the world and the performers have been trained to, that like the Super Bowl, that's the pinnacle. You get a match on WrestleMania. But and as good as the Machine Guns have always been, every time their music would hit, just crickets,
it just blows my mind that they were in WWE to begin with, because like the Motor City Machine Guns, what's their one claim to fame? Like, what's the one thing that they're good at? What's the one thing that when you see them, you go, man, they're gonna knock this out of the park? Is matches, is the wrestling, is their in-ring flippy doos and drop kicks and blah blah blah. They're fantastic at tag team wrestling. Well, guess what WWE doesn't do,
and has not done for a long time.
Professional wrestling and tag team wrestling specifically. So, like, it's like watching someone do a crossover. It's like watching Batman in a Marvel show, and you just go, "Hold on, sorry, what?"
Now,
what stands out here?
What I will say is, I know we're in different times, but if you go back and you look at characters and performers that are multi-millionaires now, an Undertaker, a Steve Austin, a Mick Foley, the list goes on and on. Before guaranteed contracts became a thing, their guarantee to come to the WWE was a $1,500 guarantee. They were guaranteed to make at least $1,500 for the year. It wasn't a month. It was for the year, and an opportunity. You go out there and you prove yourself and you can make money. And that's, where you got yourself on the card, how much merchandise you sold, blah, 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 blah. And again, like I said, I know we're in different times, but, and it's been reported that several people have already agreed to take that 50% pay cut. If they can afford to do it, God bless them. That's what they want to do. If they think there's an opportunity there, I'm never going to, tell somebody they should have made a different decision when it comes to their money. Only that they know. But it does suck.
What I'll say this is wrestling. Like I know I have a weird relationship with the WWE, and we all view it differently. But like, don't let this sort of like. I don't know how to phrase this properly. Like, look, I know people want to be in the WWE and they view that as the be all end all, and that's great. But don't view that higher than like getting your worth in a sense. Because depending on who it is, like I'm not allegedly, there's rumors. I have no idea if this is like who it is, but it's like the Miz in rumor was said to have been offered 50% less. If I was the Miz, I know you're a Fed guy. I know you've been a Fed guy the whole, like you were brought in through the Fed system and all that. I get it. But you could go anywhere, literally any company, and have a solid landing pad and make tons of money and float around. Like the New Day has that same opportunity. Like, okay, Jeff Cobb maybe doesn't have those same opportunities. Tonga Loa, maybe not those same opportunities. But like Nikki Cross, she's got a spot in Stardom right now. Like they're kind of moving, move.
Well, from what I've seen on people, not people, but their social media, like there was a video released of Indy Hartwell cutting Dexter Lumis's hair or Sam Shaw's hair, whatever you want to call it. Okay. And it seems like they're going to try to stay together to go wherever they're going to go. They're doing stuff, and Alexa Bliss came out and on her Twitter and said now that they were gone, because they kept teasing her like being part of the group. That now that they're gone, that her dark character is now retired. You will not see it again. So, but one of the ones catching a lot of stuff for being released is Kairi Sane, and that's one I have to agree with. I mean, Kairi's great in the ring, and the biggest complaint that people are getting is, or saying, I should say, is they didn't finish up her story. With the whole with Asuka and Io Sky. And rumor has it that she might actually show up at Backlash this Saturday to finish her story. They're going to bring her in for the one time, because you got Asuka against Io, and they're talking about bringing her back, for the one time appearance to finish that storyline up. So
I think they're walking a very careful line, and they've messed up a couple times, because do you remember when they released R-Truth last year?
Oh yeah.
And everyone got mad, and they said, "Hey, no, it's a work, brother, because it's
to go back to that. To go back to that, they did not release R-Truth.
Okay. What was the story then? What
his contract was coming up, and when Triple H has talked about this, I'll get to him in a second though. that his contract was coming up. And, and Triple H said nobody wanted to see Ron leave. Everybody loves Ron. And he said that that Ron came back with it to, to renew this, to do a new deal. Ron came back with this number of, what he wanted. And Triple H's like, man, we can't do that. You're not here. You're our truth. And, we love having you, but, that's not what we're doing. And, he said, and that was the end of the conversation. He said he figured that, getting closer and closer and closer to the end of his contract, that he would come back ready to negotiate. And he said, he never
report citing budgetary cuts from TKO is the primary reason. Yeah, he's been there 17 years. So if you're at a job for so long, you get a raise. If you're there for 17 years, you're obviously going to get a raise. You know what I mean? So yeah, I could see that. But at the end of the day, no matter what reason it was, the fans' perspective, they saw a fan favorite get released and then immediately brought back. As soon as the backlash happened, they brought him right back. So if they do this again with Kairi Sane and bring him right back, there's going to be a point where they release the wrong person and don't bring him right back, and people are going to be livid. But is this really how you run your company? Is you fire someone and then go, oh, we're in trouble. Well, maybe don't do it in the middle of a story.
What I heard with Kyrie, they're not bringing her back, full time. They're bringing her back simply for the one shot at Backlash to finish up this story, so they can.
I get that, but you shouldn't have to put a Band-Aid on him. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I agree.
Okay, so Nikki Cross gets released. She hasn't been on TV. She hasn't had a story done. No problem.
And I will say this: you can shit on Vince McMahon all you want, and rightfully so for a lot of stuff he's done. But now you have people in charge of a wrestling company that is not wrestling people, and the TKO philosophy, apparently from what I'm reading, is they feel like WWE is the brand, is what is the attraction, not your Roman Reigns, not your Randy Orton and stuff like that.
They did this a couple decades ago. There was commercials. I could probably find it and send it to you. There's one where it says, I'm not a fan of professional wrestling. I'm a WWE fan. Like, it was them trying to separate the brand. You know what I mean? It was like, I don't know. They're going to lose that goodwill, that defaultness, if they keep doing these little things that kind of piss off the fans. Because, I'll say a lot of bad things about Vince McMahon, but I will agree that I could see Vince McMahon going, Kofi Kingston, Kofi! Big paycheck, Kofi. You've been here forever. We've used you forever. You're old, reliable. Kofi Kingston, you get a big paycheck. I love Kofi. But I can see TKO going, that's too big of a paycheck.
Well, Brock Lesnar, apparently from everything that's being reported, they wanted Brock to go to SummerSlam and get choked out by Gunther, and Brock was like, nope. And, apparently his retirement was a shoot. Nobody knew it was going to happen then. That was his way of throwing the finger at TKO. And, and everybody was talking about, Triple H, this, that, and the other. And I just kind of brushed it off. But I think that there might be some truth to some of these rumors, because I saw an interview was Zelina Vega was doing her thing on social media, Thea Trinidad, back to her name now, but talking about that, the way things had been since Vince left, that Paul was the one calling with anything, whatever. Mm-hmm. She said, but her and Alistair got the call from TKO, and it was not Paul. It was TKO. So if that's the direction they're going, there might be some smoke to that fire. About Triple H maybe not being there much longer. So, and I can completely see it being either or. I mean, them saying, hey, you know what? We've seen how you run it long enough. We don't need you anymore. Or him getting frustrated with things like this and them pulling people out and getting rid of them in the middle of the storyline and throwing his hands up and going, you know what, y'all can have it. I can see either or happening.
What I could see happening is what happens in like movies and television and stuff, where Triple H, okay, let's call him the artist. You hire an artist, let's make a movie. Your artist is the director, producer, whatever. Okay, we're going to get Quentin Tarantino as the artist, and we're going to get Quentin Tarantino to make a Quentin Tarantino movie. Like him or hate him, he makes a certain type of movie. We want a Quentin Tarantino movie. So he goes out and he makes you a Quentin Tarantino movie. And when you bring it back, the corporate suits go, we need a girl. Can we have a romance? Can we sort of add a funny black guy? Like, obviously, there's the stereotypes. Not trying to be harmful, but you know what I mean? Like, there's always these little things that corporates want to, oh, we need teenagers. Can we get kids in this movie? So I could see them going, okay, Triple H is the person in charge. But when Triple H makes a product and hands it to TKO goes, yeah, but can we put Pat McAfee in here somewhere? And Triple H has to go, yeah, I guess we can put him somewhere. And they're like, okay, we need, this is charting really good. Can we get K-pop in here? That's obviously a weird example, but you know what I mean? Like,
no, I know exactly what you mean.
you never know when this corporate suit's going to go, yeah, but hey, that movie we love, that romance in that movie was said by a corporate suit to get, there's tons of examples of that.
Yeah. And some people might disagree with me on this one, but we'll go back to The Miz and the New Day. If I was The Miz and they wanted me to take a 50% cut, I probably would, because he's been doing it for over 20 years. He's made a fortune. His wife's made a fortune. There's going to be residuals there if you do whatever. He's not around that much anymore. I mean, we've seen him more with Danhausen the past month than we've seen him in ages.
I would be iffy on the residuals because I don't know what 50% pay cut means in the grand scheme of things. I don't know if that means, hey, your weekly paycheck is going to be 50%, or if that's just a catch-all term to mean like your residuals are 50%, your blah 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 is 50%, your gate's 50%.
Well, I guess where I'm going with that one is he's got so many outside projects that he does now, and I know Austin Creed, Xavier Woods. I know he does the online stuff. I'm not really sure what Kofi has going on outside, but
I get what you're saying. Like, I would think.
I don't think The Miz wants to. Yeah, I don't think The Miz is in a position in his life where he would want to take those opportunities and have to go around the country doing strictly wrestling stuff if he was to be released from TKO. So.
Yeah, he's not a spring chicken, so I can definitely agree with that consensus, like that opinion where it's like he's not like a what's a good example of someone young? Oh, Ricochet. Like, he's not a Ricochet that can just go to a different company and be Ricochet in a different company. The Miz would be like, I can't do much. But every company would chomp at the bit to have a Miz. Like, even New Japan would go 100%, bring him in. Like, people would love his shtick anywhere he went. He could work any style.
We'll wrap this one up with, reports have it that Roman Reigns is, they're wanting Roman Reigns to restructure his deal, saying that $15 million a year is way too much for his limited appearances. And, whether you agree or disagree, I mean, they gave it to him. And if I was him, I'd be like, this is my contract. So moving on, we'll cover this real quick. Then we'll get back into our mock draft. Last night, it's been coming for a little bit. Darby, every time MJF asks for a rematch, he's like, you got to put something on the line. And I was praying to God that they did not go back with the Adam Page stipulation, who we have still not seen since he lost. I'll give you a rematch, but if you lose, you're never getting a shot again. And but they went a different way. Darby told him last night that he would give him a shot at the next pay-per-view. I forgot which one it's coming up, but he had to put his hair on the line. And they all make fun of MJF for traveling 15,000 miles wherever he goes to get his hair plugs done and stuff like that, because even at his age, he is. He's got that the genetics of losing his hair. So he does a lot. He does a lot and pays a lot of money to. And
that's a gimmick as classic as old as time. It's like, this guy's starting to get a little thin, because that happened to Teddy Long. I only learned that recently, where he was in a hair versus hair match with somebody I totally forget, but he had a little bit missing. And it was starting to look thin, so they shaved the crown off, like, I guess his natural hairline. Like, they just did the top part, and they came out later, and everyone went to make fun of him, and they went, "You look so much better."
Yeah, Well, I mean, it's like Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle actually, he's told this story that he went to Vince and said, "Hey, man, you see I'm thinning up here. I'm just gonna shave it." And Vince's like, wait, now we're gonna make a match out of this.
We're gonna make some money off of this.
And they did the hair versus hair match with Edge, and Kurt said, he goes, he goes, as much as people want to say Vince was the boss, he goes, Vince was one of the boys. He goes, he looked right at me and he goes, but we're going to tell Edge he's losing. And because Edge had that long flowing hair,
yeah.
He goes, we're going to tell Edge he's losing up until showtime. And Kurt's talked about it. He said that at the arena that day, you see Edge, up there in the rafters and stuff, just sitting there, poo face and all this stuff. And then when he finally found out he wasn't losing, it was he was very happy. But I will say this, and then we'll move on. If MJF loses his hair, it's kind of it will be like to me the Kevin Nash thing when Kevin Nash got his hair cut by Chris Jericho on Raw. He didn't shave his head bald; he just cut the length off because he was going to film the bad guy part in Punisher. He was a Russian, and they had him with the short hair, looking Russian, and they had dyed it blonde. So I know MJF's got some movie roles coming up. So if he gets his head,
let's be real, it's only the visual. You don't have to actually shave the entire head for the visual to work. You just have to take the hair, cut it, go like this to the crowd so that pops, and then that's it. So you don't have to actually ruin the hairline. You just have to go like this. See, I cut his hair.
Yeah, but like I said, if MJF loses any of his hair, to me, that's going to be for one of these movie roles he has coming up with whatever he's got going on in the movies. I will say this: them throwing that stipulation in tells me that for once I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen with that one. So we'll see. All right, let's get back to this mock draft because after this, the following show, then we're gonna take our rosters and we're gonna make a card out of our rosters for the next show. So, we got we got main event people, we got some tag teams, women's division, we got some future stars, we got some veterans, And my number one pick was Paul Heyman. And so, Paul, remind everybody who your number one pick was.
Yuya Yamura. Eumura. It's such a weird last name to spell, but top S-class talent.
All right. So is it my go or yours? All right. We'll remind everybody. We were not. I fell asleep last week. Ain't no Paul. It's on me. I fell asleep last week and just did not wake up until 5 o'clock the next morning. So we started this the night of the NFL draft, and we were going to do 32. So we got 31 each remaining. We're going to try to get through these really quick. And so it's on me, huh?
Yeah.
My second pick is Callum Newman.
Oh my god, I think he was actually on my list. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go at Takeshita.
Oh, you took my next one. All right, that's fine. I'll take the current MLW champion, Karrion Kross with Scarlett, Killer Kross, whatever you want to call him.
I'm gonna go with Mystico.
All right, let's see. Well, being you took one, I'll go with the other. Give me Okada.
Boy, I gotta be careful on the order of these. Okay, I'm gonna go Claudio.
All right, and if you've seen anything that I'm doing here real quick other than Karrion Kross, these are people that Paul Heyman needs to cut a promo for. Let me see. Give me Swerve Strickland.
I'm gonna go with Kenta.
All right, I'll see you with Naito.
I just had in my head, oh my god, I forgot Naito. I should grab him again. Okay, since we got one of those. Let's go weird. I'm gonna go Ultimo Guerrero.
All right. I'll go Osprey.
Sheamus.
Give me Kevin Knight.
Minoru Suzuki.
I hope I say this right because you're better at these than I am. But give me Umino.
Sorry, say that again.
Give me Shota Umino.
Oh, the good thing with him is you can just call him Shooter because that's what Moxley called him. Okay, Umino. All right. I'm gonna go with was it Ryori Oiwa?
All right, give me Zack Sabre Jr.
Oh my God, Zach is gonna be mad that he was so low. Okay, I'm gonna go with T10.
All right, I'm gonna jump to the Fed for one of my favorites these days. Give me Trick Williams. Him throwing up the X for that gingerbread man, dude, that shit had me in tears. I don't know if you've seen that spot, but him throwing up the X for that gingerbread man on SmackDown. If you have not seen that, after Sami Zayn beat up the gingerbread man because it was just a costume, Trick Williams is looking down because you have to follow it for the WrestleMania stuff, but. You know, after Sami Zayn beat up and kind of ripped up some of the gingerbread man costume, Trick come out there and ran him off. And he's looking down. He's looking real sad at the gingerbread man. And he looks over at the doctor and he goes, I about lost it, man. I was like, oh, that's some good shit right there.
I got Bolton Oleg. So hold on just 1 second. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is 13.
All right, let's see. I'll stick with the Fed and give me Braun Breaker.
Okay, let's go. Josh Alexander.
Give me Roosh.
All right, I have to have one. Chad Gable.
What does that mean? I can take El Grande Americano?
Those are two different wrestlers, aren't they?
Did you see the promo for the in-ring contract signing for the two of them against each other?
No,
Mask versus Mask. They and the Creed brothers come out and attack the other one, and then on Monday it was the three of them against each other, and they had the Creeds under the mask calling them something else. It was pretty comical.
Robbie Eagles. So this is 16. Round 16. It's on you, Jason. Oh my goodness.
Give me Dominic.
You take Dom. I'm gonna take Show.
Give me MJF.
I'm gonna go with Great O'Khan. Oh my goodness, my list is actually diminished so much. Okay, so 18, round 18 on you.
Give me Carmelo Hayes.
I'm gonna go with Colt Cabana.
You gotta be shitting me.
I got a soft spot. I can't help it.
Well, you know what? Then give me CM Punk.
The fact he's so low. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go with Tiger Mask.
That's like Tiger Mask 352.
4.
Oh, okay.
It's the 4th one, but that's not talking about Dark Tiger or the one time that Kota Ibushi played him. Yeah, there's lots of tigers. But yeah. Tiger Mask 4 is the Salty Tiger. Round 20.
I will take Vikingo.
Now I'm gonna take Ryusuke Taguchi. We need some old people on our teams here.
Give me Kyle Fletcher.
Hanare.
What number are we on?
This is round 22.
All right, give me Nick Wayne.
And I'll take Akira Tozawa.
Ah. All right, well, we're gonna do that then. I'll take Obafemi.
Okay, all right, here we go. I'm halfway done my list. We gotta. All right, you took Obafemi. I am going to take Aja Kong.
Not to be confused with Awesome Kong.
Completely different Kong. This is round 24. It's on you.
Well, being as we got Heyman in there, give me Roman Reigns.
Hyper Masao.
And you can't have Roman Reigns without the Usos.
So which one are you picking first? I guess those are just going to be your next ones.
They're a tag team, baby. You can pick a tag team. I ain't mad at it.
I don't have any tag teams but we can just say, okay, first one is Jay, and then I'll go Nikki Cross.
All right. Well,
26 is what's the other one? Jay and
Jimmy and Jay.
So you got Jay. Let's go. Athena.
All right. Well,
so
this
is round 27 on you.
Well, B&G went Nikki Cross. I'll go Uncle Howdy.
Is Uncle Howdy? That's what's his name?
Bo Dallas.
I'd rather use this. I was gonna say I don't want to use his slave name, but that's definitely not what I was intending.
Or Taylor Rotundo, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to pick Yu Yamashita, someone we may have seen on the road. 28, round 28.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Let's see.
Ooh.
All right, I'm going to take Ilya Dragunov.
I'm just going to pretend like I know how to spell any of that, and then I'm going to take Jody Threat.
I will take Michael Oku.
Ooh. And there's so many names I should have picked, but I'm sticking with my plan right now. I'm gonna take Suzumi. So this is round 30.
I'm thinking.
It's it's so funny as you're thinking. I'll just say this: is I wrote down so many names, and I thought, oh, this will be a nice versatile list. And as we're at round 30, there's like 100 names running through my head, going this person, that person, this person, that person.
I will take Joe Hendry.
Joe. Okay, and it's like I hate to not go. I don't want to go back on what I had planned, but I'm going to J-Rod. Round 31. Who's your guy? Girl, whatever you...
Joseph Connors.
Okay, I'm going to pick El Desperado.
All right, give me Bandito.
So this is round 32. Your final person is Bandito?
Yep.
Okay, I just wanted to... Okay, I have the last one. I have all the power in the world. I have 0 power. What do I do? I'm panicking. I'm going to go with... Oh my god. I hate this. I hate putting myself in this position because we all know it's going to end poorly. So I'm going to pick Yuka Sakazaki.
Yeah. Say that again.
With her princess or magical girl splash. When you...
All right. And like I said, boys and girls, come back next week. We're going to take the week and we're going to take our little talent pool and we're going to make a show out of it. And see what...
we can actually put this into Journey of Wrestling, and it'll give us a star rating to see which one of us has the highest starred show.
Uh-oh.
So that's something we could do. Yeah, 32
right.
people. Okay, so what I was trying to say is 32 people. It was a lot of people. You're writing down a lot of names. But yeah, as I'm looking through this, I have 8 women only. You know what I mean? When you 32 people is not that many people for a wrestling roster.
For a wrestling show, no, it's not.
For one show, it's a lot of people, but for a roster, it's fairly limited. So hopefully, I can get a couple good matches out of this.
All right. Well, we'll run through today. We're coming up on the hour today in pro wrestling history, and some final thoughts, and we'll jump on out of here tonight. 38 years ago on Superstars, Bobby Heenan led the Islanders to the ring and introduced the new member, High Chief Appy, formerly Siva Appy. Now repackaged and covered in tattoos, they were set to face Brady Boone, Steve Blackman, and Outback Jack. Yes, that's Steve Blackman nearly a decade before his run. The Islanders jumped their opponents, and while Heenan inserted a promo and bragged about his discovery, this was the first and final appearance for Appy. He seemed confused with the angles, slapped himself, hands on the fans on the way to the ring, and they were lying with heels. The angle was not well received, and he was released after that one appearance. 14 years ago today, Paul Heyman made his WWE return after a 6-year hiatus. He returned with a stunning announcement. Brock Lesnar has quit, and he's never coming back. And that was when Brock wanted him back. 37 years ago at Wrestle War 89, often lost in the history, Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat main event and post-match attack by Terry Funk is the match where Michael Hayes beat Lex Luger to win the U.S. title. And one of the biggest singles wins of Hayes' career. He held the belt for 2 weeks before losing it back to Luger. And Batista made his WWE main roster debut as Deacon Batista on SmackDown 24 years ago. 7 years ago, the unexpected team of Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan defeated the Usos to win the vacant SmackDown tag team titles. South Africa's Angelico is 39 today. Happy birthday. Lloyd Ananaya, best known as L.A. Smooth, never heard of him, turns 56 today. 63 years ago today, Haystacks Calhoun traveled to Japan.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm surprised they got him over there. Hercules Hernandez was born on this day in 1956. 26 years ago today, WCW presented Slamboree 2000. And in the main event, Jeff Jarrett defeated DDP and David Arquette in a triple threat match to win the WCW title. Arquette, who was the defending champion, turned on Page by smashing a guitar over his head and helping Jarrett walk away with the gold. Today is the birthday of the late, great Owen Hart. He would have been 61 today. 37 years ago, Crockett Promotions presented Wrestle War 89. And this was the third match that was talking about earlier of the trilogy of Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat. And this was actually, if you've never seen this match, it was a great setup angle. Ricky Steamboat jokes that he never got a rematch after it. The way they set this up, are you familiar with all three of those matches, Paul?
No. How would you catch me up real quick?
All right. Well, one thing you had never seen before was Flair give up. Flair was not known to give up. And when the way he lost the world title to Ricky Steamboat in the first match was with the, oh God, what the hell do they call it? It doesn't matter. It was something to do with his back. Steamboat picked him up this way, kind of a version of the chicken wing. But anyway, when they did the second match, it was a 2 out of 3 falls match, and Steamboat had told him it was going to be his one and only rematch. And Steamboat won, but he went to put him in that same hold. Flair didn't tap. Steamboat kind of rolled him back this way, and the referee gave the 3 count, but Flair's foot was on the ropes, and the referee didn't see it. Normally the heel thing, but Steamboat come out and said he was going to give Flair one more match because he saw the tape and he did not legit beat Flair that time. Mm-hmm. So they come out, and they had a phenomenal wrestling match. And what the NWA had done was put 3 judges outside of the table, because if it went to a time limit draw, the judges were going to decide the winner. One of those judges was Terry Funk. And after the match, Jim Ross was interviewing Ric Flair with Terry Funk in the ring, and Funk was talking about possibly challenging him for the title, and Flair was like, I don't know who the hell you think you are, but I got a list of top 10 contenders, and Terry's like, whoa, man, I was kidding, I was just kidding you here. Let's bury the hatchet. And Terry beat the hell out of it. First time you ever saw somebody on mainstream TV get pile drived on a table outside the ring. And they did the angle where, that was back when they would make the champion defend at least every 30 days or be stripped of the title. And they come out and said Flair was not going to be able to defend the title within the 30 days, but they were giving him grace on that because it was one of their judges they put at ringside that caused him not to be able to do that. So, and then of course that went into the legendary feud with Funk, and then Sting was feuding with Muta. It led to some tag team matches. Some good stuff back then. 42 years ago, one day after winning the NWA World Title, Terry Von Erich defeated Terry Gordy to retain it in Fort Worth, Texas. AJ Francis, known as Top Dollar, turns 36 today. Happy birthday, Top Dollar. The aerial assassin Will Ospreay is 33 today. Happy birthday, Will. 38 years ago today, it was Saturday. The clock hit 6:05, and World Championship Wrestling went on the air. And we were talking about that earlier. Midnight Express celebrated their U.S. tag title with a big cake. The Fantastics come out and stuff Cornette's face into it. Some of the good old stuff back in those days. Tongaloa, happy birthday. You got released, but his birthday is today. Kevin Owens is also 42 today. Happy birthday, KO. Hope you're recovering well. We look to see you soon. And that is today in pro wrestling history. Anything stand out to you there, Paul?
I just think it's funny that Kevin Owens is still kind of young, but I feel like he's been around forever.
It seems like he would be older than 42. I agree with you.
Well, even like Kevin Owens has been around forever, but Kevin Steen was around forever. Like his earliest matches, we're talking about like 2005, like that kind of period in Ring of Honor and the Indies. Like this guy, him and Sami Zayn, like they're both healthy from what I know relatively, and it's like they've been around forever.
You don't have to watch the whole interview, but Sami Zayn was on Steve Austin's podcast one time, and they were talking about this, that, and the other. And Steve Austin, he's got such a great knack for that kind of stuff. He rolled right into it. He goes, I've been watching you for a long time, man. And there used to be this cat back in Ring of Honor named El Generico, man. And he reminds me a lot of you, but I hadn't seen that cat around in a long time. You ever heard of him? You know what happened to him? And Sammy's like, yeah, man, I heard of that guy. He was great, but he just kind of disappeared. I was like, it was just a good banter back and forth with them. So
it's the oldest trick, one of the oldest tricks in the book, right? Like everyone falls in line with those kind of character jokes, you know.
Yeah. So you got any final thoughts on it? How you think your draft card is going to shape up?
Now that I look at it, I've noticed that you've got a bit more like stars, but I think I've got a good spread of talent, so I can put together a couple good comedy matches, a couple women's matches.
Hopefully, damn it, that's who I didn't take. I wanted Danhausen. Damn it. Okay.
See, I think I can go a bit more variety show than you. You got a lot more stars, but hopefully I can get more genres out of mine.
Yeah, maybe, but mine gonna draw more money. All right. Well, we're glad you joined us here this evening. Subscribe. We're on Facebook. We're on the Talk of Tick. We're on the Instagram. All kind of good places. Follow us at Ringside Syndicate for not only the hard cam, but Road Trip Wrestling. When do you think we're going to be getting around to airing the next show about our trip to MLW?
Oh, I don't know. Couple weeks at least.
Well, I will say this. I'm going to end it the same way I started. Rest in peace, Ted Turner. The wrestling business would not be where it is without you today. And if anybody says any different, they do not know their history of professional wrestling. So Godspeed, Ted Turner, 87, just hellacious years right here on the earth. And for Paul, I'm Jason. This is no scripts, no politics, just wrestling. This is the hard cam, and we'll see you next time.